give an update on the Mac application I was building to work with the NCE USB serial board. If you saw the first video, you're kind of familiar with the concept in the application. If you haven't, I've basically built a Mac app that communicates with the serial board and sends commands to the PowerCab to control DCC trains. If you had saw the first video, you're kind of familiar with the concept, and so I'm going to make this video quick, and so go back and watch the first one if you have any more questions or more in-depth about how things work. And so, kind of like before, this is a status bar menu application, so there's no dock icon, there's no window, everything launches from up top, keeps it kind of simple and out of the way. You're going to come here and select the PowerCab, the hardware serial, the baud rate, open the port. So the first new thing is this kind of success UI, and so it's basically firing the serial command or command for the NCE board that pings back the version number, and so you'll see it's successful. And so I felt it was important for the users to have some sort of success to know that they're connected and it's working properly. So that's the first thing new. Second thing is this managed roster, and so if you remember from the first video, I was doing everything with these p-lists, and so that was a quick way when I was developing it to make it work. Now I've actually made the UI and all the core data and stuff for that, and so I've been working on this. I haven't finished the UI. It's all the functionality is working. You can save, delete, add, edit, etc. But I want to finish off the UI, so like I started down this green path, and I'll probably migrate that over here. And so it's pretty simple. You have name, DCC address, horn, headlight, bell, and then all the functions. Because if you remember the first video, all the functions show up on the throttles, and so like this is the function because I was testing for 7926. So you'll see on that throttle that shows up. So this is pretty cool when you have the manual and you can go and actually name all these to what the manufacturer names are, and it shows up nice on the throttle. The first video covers all that. So I'm going to exit out of this. I added those 3 trains for a specific reason because they're going to be used for consisting, which is another new feature that I added. So I'll go back here. I'll create a new throttle. So just a quick for the recap, this is the original throttle, and so it has a new drop down. And so I'm going to go into 7926, which I said, this is a function. You see how that shows up here. You have bell, horn, headlight, speed control, forward, reverse, emergency stop, and then a little UI to kind of show you the serial commands and the responses, so debugging type stuff. The UI has changed a little bit. Before they were light, now everything's kind of dark, and it's got this green LED font and all this, aesthetic to make it look more like the throttle. So that's the initial throttle. Pretty simple. The new throttle, which is a new feature, is a consist throttle. So we'll create a new one. And so you'll notice that what's different here is when you create the throttle, it opens an alert. And this alert is essentially what you use to build the consists. And so I went back and forth on different ways to manage consists and all that. And this is kind of the easiest and one that made the most sense. And then the other thing is the NCE USB board. There's documentation in there about what commands to create consists. I never could actually get it to work, and I've emailed them. I've tried countless amounts of different ways of doing it, and I've never gotten it to work. And so I went back to the drawing board and did a bunch of research, and essentially an advanced consist is basically setting CV19 to the DCC a shared DCC short address on each engine, and so that's what I'm doing here. So you'll see that first I'm asking you for the consist address. You'll see it's got to be between 112 and 127. I've built in features in here where if you try to hit new locomotive without entering address, you'll get an error. If you try to enter an address that's out of range or an engine already uses it, you'll get this warning. So just trying to protect you from making a mistake. So I'm going to choose 121, do a new locomotive, and then you'll notice the first thing that comes up is a lead. So every consist has to have a lead in my application, and so I'll do a lead. In my video, you'll see the small video. You'll see I have 9710 up there. It's going forward, and I'm going to add it. So it actually makes the call and it says it's added. Do another one, I'll do other, and then I'll do 4433, it's going forward, added. And then new locomotive rear, 7926, but it's going reverse, added. And so it's actually gone and made the 3 serial calls to set the CVs to 121, 121, and then for the one that's going in reverse, it's a higher number. I won't get into that details, but it's not 121. There's a higher number to tell it's going in reverse. And so that's the consist, and I'll hit done. And so now it's ready to go. The UI appears a little bit different than the other throttle, because this one actually shows you the 3 engines, so 9710, 4433, and kind of in the in order that they were added. So this is lead, this is rear. This denotes that it's going in that direction, and it switches when you change it. And then the only other thing I'll say is, for advanced consistency, you don't have to have a concept of lead and rear. I added it that way because NCE does something where they essentially send the function commands to the lead if it's going forward and to the rear if it's going in reverse. And I've mimicked that behavior in my application. So when it's going forward, all these function commands will go to the short address or long address of this engine. When it's going in reverse, all these commands will go to the long short address of this engine, the rear. All the speed commands always go to the consist address. So it's and if there is no rear, it always will go to the lead. So it's pretty neat, and it makes it easier. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start moving it. So it's gonna go forward. Reverse. See, if I do the horn, it'll be the front engine. And if I switch it to, or I wasn't reverse, if I go to forward, you see it's that engine. So if you see the headlight's going on and off in the first engine, and if I reverse it, the headlight's actually going on and off in the left engine. You can't see it. I'll go back forward. And so yeah, that's basically consisting. And the other neat feature that I added was when you close out of this, what it's going to do is it's going to ask you if you want to reset the CVs back to 0. And so you'll hear the horns beep twice because I'm gonna reset it. So it's going to reset. So you heard essentially six horns because 3 engines, and it reset those. So the consist is now cleared. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in here, shut these engines off. So the engines are shutting down because clearing the CV doesn't shut them down. So I'm shutting them down. And then there's still some more stuff that needs to be worked out. It might not be for this application, but you can set CV 21 and 22, and another one to for functions and lighting for the consist. And so I might add that into the application to make it easier. But say for the rear engine, I only wanted to show the lighting in certain conditions, or not show the headlights at all. You could set CV, I think it's 22 for that. And so forth. And so I haven't added that yet. So I'll just go back to the consisting one more time and show you. So I'm going to do consist throttle, do 126 this time. Come to lead again. Add back my 9710 forward. Added. New locomotive other. 44 forward. New locomotive rear. 26, go in reverse, and done. So again, everything is added to the consist, and so I'm going to go in reverse. And that's the horn, the one that's facing backwards but going forward because it's in reverse. You see, and there's the bell. And I'll go forward again. And so now the medium Pacific 97, 10 is now the lead again. So now it's going forward. Turn its headlights on. Now it's horn, bell. So yeah, that's the updates that I've made. So again, it's the user interface to show that I've actually indeed connected to the serial and it's working. It's the managing of the roster in the application. And then it's the new consisting feature. So it's an advanced consisting mimicking NCE's kind of lead and rear functioning. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any more questions, feel free to reach out. And yeah, thanks.